Hello, I'm Nikki Newman. This is my official YouTube channel. Please subscribe and support us.
Y&R spoilers new week Monday, full April 20th, 2026. Welcome back to the channel. Everyone, today is an absolutely beautiful day to dive into the latest madness from Genoa City. We have so much to unpack, so grab your coffee, get comfortable, and let's get right into the thick of it. I cannot believe what I just watched. Seriously, my heart is still pounding out of my chest and I am typing this at 2 a.m. because sleep is just not an option right now. Are we really doing this again with Matt Clark? I mean, I have been watching this show for years, and every single time Matt rears his ugly head, you just know that absolute chaos is going to follow. But before I completely lose my mind over the Las Vegas nightmare that is currently destroying the Newman brothers, I need to take a deep breath. Let's start with the one genuinely good, pure thing that happened in this episode. Because Lord knows we need a palate cleanser before we dive into the toxic sludge of the Abbott and Newman family drama. Okay, so let's talk about Lauren Fenmore and Michael Baldwin. Can we just take a moment to appreciate the absolute royalty that these two are? After everything they have been through over the decades, they are still giving us these incredibly sweet, romantic moments that just make you believe in love again. Lauren is starting this massive new chapter in her life, stepping up as the second-in-command to Phyllis Summers at Summers Corp. We all know that working with Phyllis is basically like juggling live grenades. So Lauren is already under a mountain of stress. But then she walks into her gorgeous new office. And what does she find? Flowers and champagne waiting for her, and a note from Michael congratulating her on this new adventure. And then Michael actually walks in. He tells her he just wanted to remind his wife how much he loves her. I am telling you, I swooned. I actually swooned at my screen. They pour the champagne. They share this beautiful, intimate dance right there in the office, and then they proceed to christen the new workspace. It was just classic Lauren and Michael. But honestly, it also made me a little nervous. Because whenever a soap couple is this happy, especially when Michael is retiring and Lauren is taking on all this new corporate stress with a mysterious attack looming over Summers Corp, you just know the writers are setting them up for a fall. I am praying they just let them be happy, but I have been burned too many times before. Wait, I am getting ahead of myself. Let's just enjoy the champagne and dancing for now. Because right after that beautiful moment, we are dragged right back into the absolute mess that is Jack Abbott's life. I am sorry, but Jack is a disaster right now. I know he is hurting, and I know sleeping with Patty Williams was a massive, catastrophic mistake. But watching him at the Genoa City Athletic Club trying to figure a way out of this is just painful. He meets up with Nikki Newman, and of course, he needs to vent. And who better to understand the twisted, complicated mess of his life than Nikki? They have this deep, historical bond, and she just gets it. She gets him. Jack is desperate. He tells her there has to be a way for both of them to get out of this miserable situation with Diane and Victor. So they start brainstorming, and it is honestly hilarious. Nikki, bless her heart, jokes about pretending to kidnap her own grandchildren and telling Victor he can't have them back until he admits he is wrong. I laughed out loud. Can you imagine? But then Jack comes up with an even crazier idea. He suggests they pull a plot straight out of one of his sister's romance novels. He wants to fake an affair with Nikki to make Diane so insanely jealous that she forgets why she was even mad in the first place. I mean, let's just pause and think about this. Faking an affair with Nikki Newman to make Diane Jenkins jealous. IT is brilliant but so stupid. Nikki immediately calls it out. She asks him who Victor and Diane would think they are going to for comfort. And then they just look at each other, and the realization hits them. Nikki says that if Victor actually believed they were having an affair, all hell would break loose. And she is absolutely right. Victor would burn Genoa City to the ground. Nikki tells Jack it is a terrible idea, but she genuinely thanks him for making her laugh. It was a really sweet, Tender moment between two old friends who have survived decades of soap opera trauma together. Jack takes her hand, and it is just a nice, quiet moment of connection. But of course, because the universe hates Jack Abbott right now, who walks in at that exact second? Victor Newman. Well, he says in that classic, smug Victor tone. I screamed at my television. I literally yelled. Because Victor is just loving this. He has been waiting for an excuse to crush Jack, and now he has it handed to him on a silver platter. And if that wasn't bad enough, Diane comes walking downstairs right behind him. Diane looks at Victor and tells him that he was right about Jack all along. Obviously, you are a better judge of my husband's character than I am, she says. I wanted to throw my remote through the screen. The hypocrisy. Diane Jenkins, the woman who faked her own death, abandoned her son, and manipulated everyone in town for years, is now standing on a moral high ground. And she is teaming up with Victor Newman of all people. Victor tells Jack to just accept defeat and let it go. But Jack is furious. He looks Victor dead in the eye and vows revenge. You will pay for this, Jack says, even if it is the last thing I do, you will pay. And then Jack turns to Diane, his own wife, and asks how she could possibly take Victor's side over his. And Diane, with ice in her veins, just looks at him and says, "Oh, you feel betrayed?" I feel the exact same way. I know Jack messed up with Patty. I really do. But seeing Diane align herself with Victor just to torture Jack is sickening. Remember when Diane and Victor used to despise each other? Yeah, didn't work then either. This whole revenge pact is going to blow up in their faces, and I'm honestly here for it when it does. I want Jack to go full ruthless Abbott on them. Okay, back to the point, because we need to talk about Las Vegas. The Vegas storyline is literally giving me an ulcer. The tension is so high I can barely stand it. We cut to Chelsea Lawson, who is panicking in her hotel room and calls Sharon Newman. Chelsea tells Sharon the terrifying truth. Nick is missing. Chelsea explains that she actually saw Matt Clark, that he took Adam to see Nick, and she hasn't seen either of them since. Sharon is freaking out on the other end of the line, and honestly, so am I. While Chelsea is on the phone, there is a knock at her door. She looks through the peephole, and it is Matt Clark. She opens the door, and this absolute psychopath just struts into her suite like he owns the place. Hello, beautiful, he says. I swear, Matt makes my skin crawl. Chelsea, who is usually so tough, is clearly terrified, but she demands to know where Adam and Nick are. And Matt, he just smirks. He tells her they are both fools. Chelsea screams at him to tell her where they are, but Matt just says he is leaving, disappearing like a Vegas magician. The sheer arrogance of this man. He has completely outsmarted them at every turn, and he loves watching them squirm. Meanwhile, back in Genoa City, Sharon is at Crimson Lights, leaving a desperate voicemail for Nick, begging him to call her back. You can hear the pure terror in her voice. Sharon and Nick have been through so much, and the thought of losing him to Matt Clark of all people is just breaking her. Then Noah walks in. Poor, sweet Noah. Sharon has to break the news to him about what is happening in Vegas, and Noah just crumbles. He starts blaming himself. I should have been there, he yells. I could have stopped this from the beginning. My heart just broke for Noah. He is carrying so much guilt, and he doesn't even know half of what is going on in his life right now. I mean, we as the audience know that Audra just confessed to Sally about having a miscarriage with Noah's baby years ago, and Noah has no idea. He is already traumatized, and now his dad is missing and presumed dead by a drug-crazed lunatic. Noah is just constantly caught in the crossfire of the Newman family drama, and it is so unfair. I really hope Sharon can keep him grounded, but she is barely holding it together herself. Now, let's get to the most intense part of the episode. The storage room. Oh my God, the storage room. We see Adam slowly waking up on the cold, dirty floor. He is clutching his head, clearly concussed from where Matt hit him with the fire extinguisher. The lighting in this scene was so dark and gritty, it really felt like a horror movie. Adam looks over and sees Nick lying completely motionless on the floor next to him. Adam scrambles over to his brother. He is shaking him, desperately trying to wake him up. "Please, you can't be dead," Adam is begging. And let me tell you, seeing Adam Noom in the dark, twisted, black sheep of the family begging for his golden boy brother's life, it was incredibly moving. For all their hatred and rivalry over the years, when it comes down to life and death, they are still brothers. Finally, Nick opens his eyes. Thank God. I literally let out a breath I didn't know I was holding. Nick looks confused and asks Adam what he is doing there. Adam explains the whole sick, twisted game. He tells Nick that Matt came to them and claimed Nick had overdosed and died. Adam looks closely at Nick, seeing the sweat, the shaking, the absolute wreck his brother has become, and says, "He said you had a very serious drug problem." And looking at you, maybe he was right. And here is where I lost my mind. Nick denies it. He completely lies to Adam. Nick explains that Matt locked him in this room, promised to pump him full of drugs, and get revenge on the entire family. Adam, who knows a thing or two about addiction and dark paths, looks Nick dead in the eye and asks him straight up, "Are you an addict?" And Nick looks back and says that Matt forced the drugs on him. I am sorry, but Nick Newman is a liar. We know from the previous episodes that Nick voluntarily took the fentanyl to calm down, and then took the cocaine to fuel his rage. He did this to himself before Matt even got full control. But Nick is so trapped in his golden boy persona that he cannot admit to his black sheep brother that he has fallen this far. He cannot admit that he is a drug addict. It is such a brilliant, tragic character flaw. Nick would rather blame Matt entirely than take accountability for his own spiral. I know some people are loving this vulnerable Nick, but personally, I am so frustrated with him. Just tell the truth, Nick. Adam is literally the one person who would understand hitting rock bottom. But Adam doesn't have time to play therapist right now. He looks around the dark storage room and spots an old phone on the wall. A lifeline. He rushes over, picks it up, and miraculously, it works. He dials Chelsea's hotel room. Chelsea picks up, probably expecting it to be Matt again, but it is Adam. He quickly tells her that he and Nick are alive. He tells her that Nick is okay, which is a massive stretch considering Nick is currently going through brutal withdrawals and lying through his teeth, and that they are locked in a storage room at the end of the hall. The episode ends right there, and I am just sitting here staring at the credits rolling, feeling like I need a stiff drink. This show is firing on all cylinders right now. The pacing, the drama, the history being dragged up to the surface, it is classic Young and the Restless. But I have so many questions. Is Chelsea going to be able to get them out before Matt comes back? Matt is a total wild card. He could have rigged that door with explosives for all we know. And what happens when Sharon finally gets to Vegas? Is she going to see Nick in this state? Because if Sharon sees Nick strung out on drugs, lying about his addiction, it is going to destroy her. She is flying out there hoping to save her knight in shining armor, but Nick is currently a broken, desperate addict. And let's not forget the absolute powder keg waiting back in Genoa City. Jack is vowing revenge on Victor and Diane. Patty Williams is still out there, lurking in the shadows, ready to cause more chaos. Sally is waiting for her pregnancy test results, while Audra is dropping massive bombshells about Noah's past. I feel like every single storyline is about to collide in this massive, explosive climax, and I am both terrified and absolutely thrilled. I really hope the writers don't mess this up. They have built up so much incredible tension. Please, Y&R gods, let Adam and Nick have a real, honest conversation in that storage room before they get rescued. Let Nick admit his flaws. Let Jack actually get a win against Victor for once in his miserable life. And please, For the love of all that is holy, just let Lauren and Michael drink their champagne in peace. Am I the only one feeling this way? I know some fans in the forums are saying they are tired of the Matt Clark stuff, but I think this is the best material Joshua Moronick and Mark Grossman Adam have had in years. The dynamic of the brothers being forced to rely on each other to survive is just top-tier soap opera. I am going to be counting down the minutes until tomorrow's episode. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, because I clearly need to talk about this with people who get it.